Welcome back, friends. Today we will deal about the epidermal tissue system as we are dealing about the plant anatomy. Okay, so epidermal tissue system, here EP means up on and derma means the skin. That means epidermal tissue system is the outermost skin. Okay, epidermal tissue system or epidermis system of a cell forming the outer covering of the primary plant body and is variable in structure and function. Okay, epidermis forms the outermost covering of the primary plant body or the organs which are present in the primary plant body. These are originated from the Protoderm meristem. What is Protoderm meristem? It is the outermost layer of the young growing region from which epidermis develops. Term epidermis is used in general to the surface layer of the primary plant body or surface layer of the various organs of the plant body. It may be the root, stem, leaves, flowers, seeds, fruits, etc. So it is a generally epidermis is a surface layer of the primary plant body. This epidermis possesses outgrowths in the form of trichomes or hairs. The epidermal cells, some of the epidermal cells, suppose this one is a epidermal cell, this one is another epidermal cell. This epidermal cell protrude out in the form of appendage, and these appendages are called as trichomes or hairs. It is mainly protective. Epidermis is a protective one. It may be either single layered or maybe multi-layered. Single layer, when epidermis is formed by means of a single layer, then it is single layer, and when it is formed by means of 2, 3 or more layers, then it's called as a multi-layered epidermis, or this one is also called as a multiple epidermis. The epidermal cells appear polygonal in surface view and irregular in outline. They are arranged very close to each other. Epidermal cells do not show any intercellular spaces. It shows minute aperture or minute pores in the epidermal cells, and they are present in the form of stomata. Just see, the epidermis is continuous except small pores which are called as a stomata or lenticels. Okay, these in a primary plant body, the small pores which are present in the epidermis called as a stomata. But when secondary growth takes place, at that time this stomata get replaced in the form of a lenticel, and not only the change occur in the stomata in the form of lenticel, this epidermis is also replaced by means of formation of a periderm. So within a periderm one can observe the presence of lenticel in after the secondary growth, but in primary structure this epidermis shows minute pores, and these minute pores are called as a stomata. Just see these somewhat figures. The structure of the stem, this one is a anatomical nature, and this one is the epidermal region. Just see here, these are actually the epidermal cells. This epidermal cell protrude outward, okay, in the form of projection or in the form of appendage, and this appendage is called as either hair or trichome. Again, if you observe here, this epidermis is covered by means of fatty substance called cutin, then it is called as a cuticle. Here if you see, the presence of stomata is present, and main function played by stomata is a gaseous exchange or transpiration. So such a type of a structure are present in the epidermis. If you see here, this one is a TS or vertical section of the leaf. This one, the outermost layer which is present here, this one is the epidermis. This region, this is a section of a dicot leaf, as the palisade tissue is formed by means of a palisade parenchyma, and this one is a spongy parenchyma. These are the vascular bundles which are present in the mesophyll tissue. Just observe what type of cells present in the epidermis. So these cells appear somewhat elongated without any intercellular spaces. Okay, so again, if you observe, the outer wall of these epidermal cells are somewhat thicker than the inner wall. Okay, so this is about the epidermis. Then just see, this one is a cross section of a leaf of a nerium. Here you observe a multiple epidermis. So if you see, this one zone is of epidermis, and here if you count the number of layers, 1, 2, 3, at least 3 to 4 layered epidermis is present here. So this epidermis is called as a multi-layered epidermis, or also called as a multiple epidermis. Nerium is a xerophytic type of the plant, and if multiple epidermis present in any plant, then it probably shows a xerophytic nature. One more character which shows the xerophytic nature, that the presence of a sunken type of a stomata. These stomatas, sunken type of stomata, are usually present on the lower epidermis. If you see, this one is a lower epidermis, and this one is a cavity within which the guard cells are present, or it is sunken means deeply situated or hidden type of a stomata. So it checks the rate of transpiration. So this is a sunken type of stomata observed in the nerium plant. Just see this one figure. Then if you see, this is the epidermal layer, and these are the epidermal cells. Epidermal cells are covered by means of a thick cuticle. Then these are the fibers, that means this one is a region of a hypodermis, and parenchyma cell, this one is a cortical region or general cortex. Just see what type of tissue system present, or type of a cell present, then what is their outline. Okay, so this is about the epidermal tissue system. Just see these figures again. See this one is a typical figure of stomata. So the epidermis shows a minute pore present in it, and this minute pore or aperture is called as a stoma. Or in other words, this stoma is formed by means of two specialized epidermal cells, which are usually kidney shaped or bean shaped, and these cells are called as a guard cell. So the guard cell encloses a space, and this space is called as a stoma. So stoma plus guard cell along with accessory cell, some of the epidermal cells which surround the guard cells are called as accessory cells or subsidiary cells. This entire structure is the structure of stomata. So if you see here, this one is a stomatal aperture. or stomatal pore. These are the guard cells. Within guard cells are rich in the chloroplast. Then these are the subsidiary cells. Okay, here first one, second one, third one, fourth one. So all these are the subsidiary cells, and after subsidiary cells the epidermal cells as usual will be present in the epidermis. Just see this one figure again. This is a stomata of a monocot. So this one is a monocot stomata, or this one is a graminaceous type of stomata. This is a stomatal aperture. Okay, and these two, first and second, these two are the guard cells. Here a distinct character of the guard cells that they are dumbbell shaped, and if such a type of a dumbbell shaped cells, dumbbell shaped guard cells forms the structure of stomata, then it is usually monocot stomata, graminaceous type of stomata. Okay, so this is a what is the characteristic of the graminaceous or monocot stomata? That the guard cells are dumbbell shaped. Okay, just see this one is again a picture of a stomata. So this is a stomatal aperture. These are the guard cells, and the cells which surround the guard cell are the subsidiary cells. So these are subsidiary type of the cells which surrounds the guard cell. So first one, then second one, then third one, and fourth one. Okay, so all these are the subsidiary type of the cells. See just again one figure of the type of a what is the structure of the stomata. So this is a stomatal pore. The stomatal pore is guarded by means of the guard cell. If you see here, this is stomatal pore. These two are the guard cells. Let me, okay, so stomatal pore, then these are the two guard cells, and again these guard cells are surrounded by means of such a type of a subsidiary cells. So all these are the structure of stomata. Before going, just see this one more figure, actually photograph of the stomata of the epidermal peeling. Such a type of stomata are usually observed in the epidermal peeling. This is a stomatal distribution in monocot leaf, which shows parallel type of a venation, and such a type of a dumbbell shaped guard cells will be present, or graminaceous type of a stomata will be present there. So we are dealing about the epidermis. Then epidermis may be the single layered epidermis or maybe the multi-layered epidermis. If you see, this one is a uniseriate epidermis. When epidermis consists of a single layer, or when the epidermis is formed by means of a single layer, then it is called as a single layered epidermis or uniseriate epidermis. If you see here, this is a cuticle and 3 layers of epidermis, and then the palisade tissue. This is a multiple epidermis or multi-layered epidermis. Okay, just see here about the uniseriate epidermis. Mostly the epidermis is single layered, and if single layered epidermis is present, then it is called as a uniseriate epidermis. Inner and radial walls of the epidermal cells are comparatively thicker. Inner and radial walls of epidermal cells are comparatively thicker. Epidermis shows additional thickness due to the impregnation of either suberin, cutin, or lignin. If impregnation of suberin is present, then it is called as a suberization. Impregnation of cutin is present, then it is called as a cutinization or cuticularization. And the same way, deposition of lignin shows the lignification. Okay, suberization and cutinization, that means deposition of suberin and cutin makes the wall, makes the epidermis, nature of epidermis, a protective one. It protects the epidermis from the mechanical injury. Various types of the mechanical injury occur to the epidermis, as it is a outermost layer, and not only these, they also prevent the loss of water from the epidermis or from the plant body, as it is a outermost boundary between the tissue system and the environment. In monocot, they are slightly elongated. Epidermal cells are slightly elongated. In xerophytic plants, the outer and radial walls are thickened and lignified. Okay, xerophytes are those plants which grow in scarcity of water, and for the reduction of water loss, here such a type of a thick cuticle or thick outer walls and radial walls of epidermal cells are present. Example, if you see the such a type of a thick and thick outer layer and radial wall of epidermis are Opuntia, Nerium, Euphorbia. All are showing. Opuntia is a xerophytic type of the plant, Nerium is a xerophytic type of plant, Euphorbia may or may not be the xerophytic type of the plant. Okay, as Euphorbia is a common species. In seeds of citrus, the cell wall of epidermis becomes mucilaginous in nature. Okay, so mucilaginous layer, somewhat slippery movement will be shown by means of presence of this mucilaginous type of a layer or cell wall. Epidermal cells are living, and cell wall is made up of cellulose. Here it is clear that the epidermal cells show cell wall which is a primary cell wall, and if primary cell wall is present, then it is made up of cellulose and the cells are living one. Along with the chloroplast or chromoplast, certain other pigments are also present in the epidermal cells, like anthocyanin, leucoplast or chromoplast, which gives color to that particular organ. If the example, if you see, it may be present in the flower epidermis, maybe the petiole epidermis, maybe the lip epidermis, maybe the stem epidermis, each show different types of the color based on the species. In roots, such a type of a epidermis is called as a epiblema or piliferous layer, or maybe the rhizodermis. So epidermis is called as a either epiblema or piliferous layer, or maybe the rhizodermis. These cells extend out in the form of tubular unicellular root hairs, which are absorptive in function. Okay, just say about the multiple epidermis. What is multiple epidermis? The multiple epidermis, in multiple epidermis, 3 to 5 layers of the epidermal layers are present, and is observed in Nerium, Begonia, Ficus, Orchis, Rhizophora. Okay, so it is 3 to 5 layers. In Peperomia, in Peperomia leaves, the upper multiple epidermis consists about 14 to 15 layers of the epidermal cells. Just say about the stomata. So stomata are minute pores. Okay, stomata are minute pores which occur in the epidermis of the plants. Stomata occur on any part of the plant except the root. It may be present on the leaf, stem, leaves, flowers, perianth, okay, whatever it may be. So they are absent only in the roots. They occur on both epidermis, that means upper epidermis as well as lower epidermis. Mostly, generally, stomata are studied in case of leaves. So in case of leaves, the stomata occur upper and lower epidermis of the leaf. In case of shade-loving plant or in case of mesophytic type of the plant, the number of stomata are more or less equal, present on both upper and lower epidermis. But in majority of the cases, they are confined to the lower epidermis. Okay, in floating hydrophytes, that means these hydrophytes floats on the water surface. So the lower epidermis or lower surface of the leaf is present to the lower side, or it is in contact with the water. Therefore, stomata will be absent on the lower epidermis and only present on the upper epidermis, okay, or upper surface. In dicotyledon, stomata remain scattered in the leaves. Why they are scattered? As reticulate kind of venation present, therefore stomata remains scattered, while in case of monocot, they are arranged in parallel rows as parallel type of venation present in the monocot. Each stomata or each stoma remains surrounded by means of two kidney or bean-shaped epidermal cells, which are called as a guard cell. So if you see this one figure, this is a stoma, and this stoma is surrounded by means of these two kidney shaped cells. Okay, this one is a kidney shaped cell or bean shaped cell, and this one is a another kidney shaped cell, or both togetherly form the guard cell. Guard cells are living and contain chloroplast. Okay, guard cells are surrounded by means of subsidiary cells. Okay, which are the subsidiary type of the cells? If you see here, these greenish colored structure these structures are the subsidiary type of the cells. Okay, so these are the accessory cells or subsidiary type of the cells. The guard cells are surrounded by means of accessory or subsidiary cells. Under normal condition, stomata remain closed in absence of light or during the night hours, while it remains open during the day hours or in presence of light. There are 5 types of stomata based on the structure. And which are these types? First one is a ranunculus or anemocytic type of stomata. Anemocytic or ranunculus, as it is observed in Ranunculaceae family, therefore it is called as a Ranunculaceous type of a stomata. Anemocytic means irregular celled. Okay, in this type, stoma remain surrounded by 5 irregular subsidiary cells. Then it is called as a anemocytic type of a stomata. So if you see this one is a stoma. Okay, these two are the guard cell, and this structure is surrounded by means of such a type of a subsidiary cells or accessory cells. If we count the number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, Okay, this becomes the anemocytic type of the stomata. Let's see what is anemocytic or ranunculaceous type of stomata. Ranunculaceous, here stomata or stoma remains surrounded by means of 5 irregular subsidiary cells. Okay, ranunculus is the example. Second one is cruciferous or anisocytic type of stomata. Anisocytic type of stomata means unequal celled. In this type, stoma remains surrounded by 3 subsidiary cells, and out of these 3 subsidiary cells, one is very small than the other 2. Example is a brassica. So this one is a cruciferous type of stomata. This one is a stoma. Okay, these 2 are the guard cell 1, 2 and 3. These are the subsidiary cells. If you see, first and second cell are almost similar in size, but third one, this cell is a comparatively smaller than the other 2 cells, subsidiary cells. So this one is an anisocytic type of a stomata or cruciferous type of a stomata observed in the brassica one. In rubiaceous or parasitic type of stomata, parasitic means parallel celled. Okay, in this type, the stoma remains surrounded by means of 2 subsidiary cells which are parallel to the long axis of the pore and guard cell. So if you see here, these 2 figures represent the parasitic type of the stomata. Here the number of subsidiary cells are 2. Okay, subsidiary cells are present in pair and they are parallel to the axis of the pore and guard cell. So such a type of stomata is called as a parasitic type of stomata. And what is discitic type of stomata? Here subsidiary cells are 2. Okay, suppose this one is a stoma is guarded by means of such type of a guard cells. Here such a type of a subsidiary cells will be present. This one is the first subsidiary cell and this one is another one subsidiary cells. These subsidiary cells are perpendicular to the axis of the pore and stoma. Then it is called as a discitic type of a stomata. Okay, so what is caryophyllaceous or discitic type of stomata? Discitic means cross cell. In this type, stoma remains surrounded by a pair of subsidiary cells whose common wall is right angles to the guard cell. So here the common wall is at right angle to the guard cell. So this one is a caryophyllaceous or discitic type of stomata. So in first one, anemocytic type of stomata, 5 irregular cells are present. In anisocytic type of stomata, 2 plus 1 condition is present, subsidiary cells. In parasitic type of stomata, only 2 subsidiary cells are present and they are parallel to the long axis of the pore and guard cell. While in case of discitic type of stomata, again 2 subsidiary cells are present and they are perpendicular to the long axis of the pair and guard cell. And last one is a gramineous type of stomata. What is gramineous type of stomata? It is observed in the monocot plants. In this type, guard cells in the middle portion are narrower than their end. So here the guard cells will be present in the form of dumbbell. So this is a stomatal pore or aperture, and these are the guard cells. So if you see this one figure, this one is a monocot stomata or gramineous type of stomata, where guard cells are dumbbell shaped. Okay, and last one more typical type of a stomata is called as a coniferous type of a stomata. This coniferous type of stomata are usually called as a sunken type of a stomata. These sunken type of stomata are observed in the xerophytic type of the plants, xerophytic leaves, and usually they are confined to the lower epidermis. To reduce the rate of transpiration or to prevent the loss of water from the leaves, such a type of a deeply situated stomata are present, and such a type of stomata are called as a sunken type of stomata. If you see here, this is a cavity, and within this cavity, if you observe here, such a type of a guard cells will be present. If you see here, again such a type of a guard cells will be present here, and these stomatal cavity is guarded by means of such a type of a number of hairs to check the rate of transpiration. If you see here, the cells which are present here are partly lignified or non-lignified. Okay, so these cells may contain a deposition of lignin, may contain. Okay, so this one is a guard cell, this one is again the actually gramineous type of stomata, which are formed by means of the guard cells. Somewhat elliptical structure are observed in the coniferous or sunken type of the stomata. So coniferous, they are sunken in the epidermis. Sunken means deeply situated in the epidermis. Okay, in their median part, the guard cells and elliptical have narrow lumina, very narrow lumina is present. At their ends, they have wider lumina and triangular intersection. These walls of the guard cells and subsidiary cells are partly lignified and partly non-lignified. Example, pinus. Very simple thing about the coniferous type of stomata or sunken type of stomata. They are present in the xerophytic type of the plant. They form such a type of a cavity. Stomata or guard cells are present very deeply or generally hidden. Okay, and these structures are guarded by means of such a type of hairs or scales. To reduce the rate of transpiration or to minimize the loss of water from the leaf is the main function played by means of such type of a coniferous kind of the stomata. Then what are the functions of the stomata? First one function is the transpiration. Loss of water in the form of vapor is called as a transpiration, and evaporation of water takes place through the stomata. Not only the transpiration or evaporation of water, the exchange of gases between plant and environment or atmosphere also occurs by means of the stomata. Various physiological processes are operated in the plant, and for the physiological processes the gases like O2 or CO2 are needed, and these are exchanged by means of these stomata. Okay, so this is about the stomata. Just say about the epidermal outgrowths. Epidermal cells grow out in the form of appendage called as a hair or trichome. What are the appendage? Suppose this one is a epidermal cell, this one is another epidermal cell, and if such a type of epidermal cell protrude outward in the form of projection or in the form of appendage, then this one is called as a hair or trichome. Okay, so the epidermal cells grow out in the form of appendage and they are called as hair or trichome. It may be unicellular or multicellular. This is a unicellular hair, but if you see this one becomes the multicellular hair. This is a unicellular hair. Trichomes are present or occur may occur in all parts of the plant. Okay, they may be persistent or permanent or maybe the temporary. So they persist throughout the life of the organ or may get lost. Cells may be living or dead. Okay, some important types of the outgrowths are present here. So just see some of the epidermal outgrowth which are present in the form of hairs or trichome. So this is a epidermis, okay, and these are the appendages present over the epidermis. Okay, you will see here such a type of a glandular structure observed on the hair or trichome. Such a type of a structure is called as a glandular hair. So all these are the glands. If the gland present at the tip of the hair or trichome, then it is called as a glandular trichome or glandular hair. Okay, so if you see here, this one is a multicellular. Okay, this is the first one cell, this one is a another cell. So this is a multicellular structure and this is a glandular hair. If you see here, this is a stinging hair. We'll come across this. So this is a multicellular structure. Okay, this is a multicellular glandular hair. This is a foot and this one is a body. At the tip of this hair, such a type of a gland is present in the stinging hair. When any object come in contact to this gland falls off and the sharp edge of this hair penetrate in the skin of the object. It may be usually the grazing animal. Okay, and it causes the irritation. So this one is a adaptation present in a plant. So this is a stinging hair. These are the glands present in the halophytic plant or mangrove plant, Avicennia. In mangrove plant, if you see, usually foot region is present, then stalk region present, and head region is present. So this is a glandular structure observed in the mangrove plant, or this gland is called as a salt secreting gland, which is usually observed in Avicennia as well as in the Atriplex plant. Just see this one figure again. Okay, these hairs are unicellular, unicellular and unbranched. Okay, unicellular, unbranched. Some hairs are also in this type. They are unicellular but show such a type of a branching. Then they are unicellular branched hair. Okay, so these are the unicellular hairs. Just see here, these are the multicellular hairs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, unbranched but multicellular. Here unbranched and unicellular. Just see, these are the non-glandular hairs. So this one is a simple branched multicellular. See this one here, this one is a multicellular hair, but it's showing a branched structure. Okay, this is a stellate hair. What is stellate hair? this one is a multicellular structure. It forms a star shaped structure, that's why it is called as a stellate hair, or it may be present in this form. Stellate hair, star shaped structure. It may be peltate. Peltate, that means shield shaped structure. A minute stalk is present, and the upper body, if you see here, this upper body is formed by means of such a type of a shield like structure, then it is called as a peltate hair. So it appears in the form of shield. How the structure of shield is present? Such a type of a shield will be present, and it has a stalk or handle at its base. So this one is a peltate hair. Branch T-shaped structure, pyrethrum plant, T-shape. This one is a stalk and this one is a region of head. So this one is a stomata. Then this one is a unicellular hair, unbranched one. This one is a multicellular hair. This is a multicellular branched structure. It forms a dendroid like structure or tree like structure. Okay, if you see this one figure, see here, this is a branched structure. So it forms a tree like structure. Such hairs are called as a dendroid hair. These are the rhizodermal type, rhizodermal root hair. Okay, this one is a figure of ice beads in Mesembryanthemum crystallinum. Some of the epidermal cells stores water, and due to the cool environment, this water forms the ice, and the surface of a plant, due to the presence of such a type of a ice, becomes a shiny, or it forms a crystalline like structure or beaded structure. So such a plants are called as a ice plant. As the epidermal cell stores the water, and this water forms the ice. Okay, so these plants are called as a ice plants. Water vesicles, Mesembryanthemum crystallinum is an example of these ice plants. Okay, then this one is again a figure of stellate hair. Stellate hair forms the star-shaped structure. Such a type of a star-shaped structure is produced by the hair, then it one called as a stellate hair, star-shaped structure completely. Then this one is a typical figure showing the glandular hair. This is a foot cell. Okay, this one is a stalk cell, and body or head region forms the gland, then it is called as a glandular hair. So this is a typical figure showing the glandular hair. There are various shapes may be present in the glandular hair. Again, if you see here, see this one figure. Okay, this one is a peltate hair, shield like structure. Then figure B, multicellular glandular hair. Okay, this one is a sunken type of the stomata. See here, the gramineaceae are sunken type of the stomata. Such a type of a guard cells will be present, and this entire cavity is guarded by means of such a type of a hairs. Okay, so such type of hairs or scales guard the cavity, and such a type of a guard cells are present deeply situated, and that's why they are called as a sunken kind of the stomata. Okay, these are the glandular hairs. unicellular glandular hair. These are the unicellular glandular hair. D, multicellular glandular hair, multicellular structure and a structure of a gland. Then multicellular glandular hairs, head region, body region and foot region are usually observed. This is again the glandular hair. Okay, so just see about the epidermal outgrowth. So the epidermal cells grow out in the form of appendage, then it is called as a epidermal outgrowth in the form of hair or trichome, maybe unicellular or multicellular, persistent or temporary, maybe living or dead. Just see the types of the outgrowth. First one is a non-glandular hair. This originates from the epidermis. Glandular hair as well as non-glandular hairs originate from the epidermis, no doubt. It has two regions. The basal region is called as a foot and apical part is called as a body. So this one is a foot region. This foot region is usually merged or embedded in the epidermis, and this one part is called as a region of a body. The hairs are hygroscopic and help in retention of water. It may be unicellular or multicellular. So the hairs may be either made up from the single cell or number of cells. Unicellular hairs are used of the root are absorptive in function. They absorb the water and minerals. Morphologically, unicellular hairs are categorized into unbranched and branched. So unicellular hair may appear in this way or it may appear in this way. This is the unbranched hair, while this one is a branched hair. Unicellular hairs having a single bunch, such a type of a single bunch if present of a unicellular hairs, then they are called as a tufted hair. Multicellular hairs show foot embedded in the epidermis and body projecting above the surface. So if you see here such a type of a hair, then it shows multicellular hair. This one region which is embedded in the epidermal zone, this one is called as a foot, and body which project above the surface. Multicellular hairs may consist single row of cells, then it is called as a uniseriate, observed in the tomato. Multicellular hairs more than one row, then it is called as a multiseriate. Suppose such a type of a hair is present. This is a uniseriate one, and if it is present in this way, then it becomes multiseriate. Actually this one is a branched one. This figure may be in this way, multiseriate. Such a type of a multiseriate hair may also be present. So the multicellular hair with one row known as a more than one row known as a multiseriate, example Portulaca. Some multicellular hairs are branched in this way. These are branched, giving a tree-like appearance. Then they are called as a dendroid hair. Okay, example Mimosa or Plantamus. Sometimes they form scale-like structure. Okay, example Solanum verbasifolium. In the members of family Malvaceae, trichomes are stellate hair. That means they are star-shaped. Example Hibiscus. Just say about the glandular hairs. Okay, glandular hairs are found in the members of family Solanaceae, Labiatae, Urticaceae, Pedaliaceae or Cucurbitaceae. These glandular hairs consist of stalk and head. The head act as a secretory function of the hair. So stalk region, such a type of a stalk region will be present, and above region is a head region, and this head consists of a secretory material, and these secretory materials or chemicals are secreted or exhausted out through the head region. In peltate glandular hair, the discoid plate is made up of glandular cells. You see, peltate glandular hair, this is a peltate glandular hair. It forms a completely discoid structure. Glandular hairs with multicellular stalk and rounded terminal head, multicellular stalk and rounded head region. This secrete aromatic volatile oil in case of Mentha and Ocimum plant. In Cucurbita, glandular hairs are multicellular. Okay, in certain halophytes like Avicennia, Rhizophora, here salt glands are present. If you see here, single cell stalk, two celled foot is present. Such a type of a foot will be present. Single cell stalk cell is present, and head region is formed by means of 3 to 4 cells. So such type of a gland is present in the Avicennia or Rhizophora type of the plant. 3 to 4 salt secreting glands are present. This one is a stalk region and this one is a foot region. Okay, the head is covered with thick cuticle. So this is the region where thick cuticle is present, but it also shows minute pores on the cuticular region. Okay, so such a type of the glandular cuticular region. Let me show. This is a cuticle, and such a type of a minute pores are present on the in this cuticular region. Through these pores, the content present within this gland exhaust out. What is the content? These are the salt glands. Whatever salt is present inside these glands are secreted out through these pores. Okay, so salt glands are present in the halophytes, that means mangrove plants, and probably help in the removal of excess salts. In Avicennia, Rhizophora, this shows multicellular salt glands, two-celled foot, okay, single-celled stalk, and head composed of 3 to 4 salt secreting cells. Head is covered with thick cuticle. So cuticle is present, which has pores at the top of the gland. Okay, so such a type of pores will be present here. In Urtica urens, okay, in Urtica urens, the stinging hair is a unicellular glandular hair. We already seen this stinging hair. So in Urtica urens, this stinging hair is a unicellular glandular hair. It has a basal bladder-like structure, and this bladder-like structure is embedded in the epidermal cell. Silicified upper end has a spherical tip. This is a tip region, spherical tip. When these hairs come in contact with any object, usually the grazing animal, this spherical tip breaks, forming a sharp edge. Okay, so when it falls off, this sharp edge will be present, which can penetrate human or animal skin, and the content in the hair enter into the body, which causes the irritation. Okay, so in urticaria, such type of a stinging hair is also present. And last one point is a motor cell or bulbiform type of the cell or buliform type of the cells. In the leaves of monocot, comparatively large vacuolated and thin walled cells occur in the epidermis, and these cells are called as a bulbiform type of the cells or buliform type of the cell or motor cells. Okay, so these are the motor cells or bulbiform type of the cells. They occur, they are larger than the adjacent cells. If you see, these are the epidermal cells. See the size, shape of this epidermal cell, and see the difference between the size and shape of the cells. So these are larger than the adjacent cells. These are commonly present on the upper side of the leaf running parallel to the veins. So this is the mid vein region, this is the vascular region, and these are the cells where the motor cells are present. These are mainly water conducting cells without chlorophyll. Water conducting cells. Usually rolling or unrolling of the leaves are caused by means of such a type of a buliform type of the cell or bulbiform type of the cells. These cells mainly contain water and they are without the chlorophyll. Inner walls are thin, but outer walls are thick and cutinized and often filled with the silica. Silicification is usually present in the epidermal cells of the monocot. These are concerned with rolling and unrolling of the developing leaves. During the noon hours, when the extreme temperature is present, the water from these motor cells is sent to the adjacent cell and a compression occurs. And when such type of a compression occurs, it forms a rolling or curling of the leaves. But in at other times, the water is sent to the cell, which causes the turgor in this motor cell, and it causes unrolling of the leaves. So the motor cells are usually involved in the rolling and unrolling of the leaves. Just say about the functions of the epidermis. It prevents heating of the inner tissue and help to reduce the transpiration. In orchids, they are modified for the purpose of absorption of the moisture from the air. As orchids, majority of the orchids are epiphytic type of the plants, and therefore they absorb the moisture from the environment. So they are modified for the purpose of absorption of the moisture. It helps in the protection of the internal soft tissue against the mechanical injury. It prevents excessive evaporation of water from the internal tissue. It also helps in the photosynthesis and secretion of the metabolites. Photosynthesis, if the epidermal cells contain the chlorophyll pigment, then it performs the function of photosynthesis. And secretion, in case of glandular hair, they are helpful in the secretion. It acts as the storehouse of water in majority of the xerophytic type of the plants. So this is about the epidermal tissue system. I hope you might have understood this epidermal tissue system. So stop here. Have a nice day. Good day.